you guys? It's Boomer and Jared watching Bali Star. Today, we's getting into Janko just exposed Logan Paul. It's pretty bad. Now, we're talking about this guy that was on Logan Paul's podcast. You know what I'm saying? Logan Paul called him out for being religious. Like it's wrong or something. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everybody has their own take on religion, sex, gender, race, all that, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, I don't know, to take it to an extreme is always too much, you feel me? And I guess apparently that's what happened. You know what I'm saying? It took to a certain extent of extreme for George. That's a guy that was on his podcast, not to F with him at all. But, you know, let's get into this video and find out what's really going on right now, bruh. Let's get straight on into it. Let's go.
When I get that call, and I tell him, I go, Logan, I get it, bro. And I fully told him, I go, listen, man, like, I will take half the deal that Celsius gives me. Half. If you want to put it on the table for my show, a quarter, work with me. He says, I won't pay you a dime. You're here because of me. And then I said, well, what do you want me to do for my bills, bro? I got no money. And he says, go have your rich dad pay for it.
Logan Paul called being a bad person? Wow, I would have never seen that coming. You know what's going on, guys? So the guy who used to host Impulsive with Logan Paul, not that one, the other one, Janko, he recently had this podcast with Mike where he talks about the time that he had to walk away from Impulsive after Bobby Lee allegedly kept touching him where he didn't let me touch, and Logan Paul was just being this, I can't cuss in the first minute, but he was just being a meanie weenie to his co-host, George.
I've always thought that dude looked like him.
He walked away a few months ago, starting his own
looked like Logan Paul.
It's extremely successful. So he's doing great for himself after
going through his emo phase.
Once you walk away from Mr. Logan Paul, you're never going to be successful. And he's proving the people wrong. I think it was a pretty messy situation that could have been avoided easily if Logan Paul wasn't, such a dick, such a douchebag. He is clocked out.
Yeah, George has been under a tremendous amount of... No, stop, George. I want you over here with me. George, I want you over here. Chase him down. Go. You find him. George, no, go get him. Go get him. I said...
And it just shows you how...
Logan ain't saying nothing.
Logan Paul.
I think that you're a street dude that came from selling drugs, and your one street mentality, like my cousins that do sling, is... I have to protect myself first, and then I'll protect others.
But that's not. And this is where we probably have to get into the material.
Yeah. Okay, the Bobby Lee situation.
Who was the first person that jumped off the couch and said, "George just left. That was not good. We have to fix the situation." Did they not cut shit that you should have stood up for me and said, "Hey, you can't cut that shit. That's gonna make him look like an idiot for leaving." Okay, let's slow down, and I'll answer that. We have always cut things that we believe will protect the integrity or reputation of the guest.
That protected nobody but him.
No, of the guest. That's what I'm trying.
Well, what about the guy that you break bread with, bro?
But we removed a number of things that you said on the podcast. Well, no, I'm not going.
Booty, bro.
No. Do you want me to? There was something that you said on the laser beam episode. You said something about like laughing at a girl getting hit in like a parking lot. You saw like a fight.
I just said the joke line.
No, I understand that, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, I didn't sexually harass somebody.
I'm not trying to die one-to-one. I'm just saying
But it's one thing when you're a co-host of Impulsive. It was the three of them. It was George, it was Mike, and of course, the main guy, Logan Paul. So all of these three were working together. George was never a guest, and he got done dirty. And he says he doesn't have a problem with Bobby Lee. It's just the way Logan Paul, or whoever's in charge of cutting the clip, you know how they made him look. It looks like, if you've seen the clips, and if you weren't there at the time, people were saying, oh, George is just a little bit, he couldn't handle the jokes. Bobby got to him. But it just sounds miserable to be around Logan Paul. I get it. You gotta protect the guests. Every reason why people click on the video. I completely get that. But you also have someone who you work with. And for Logan Paul to allow this situation to go down, I mean, that speaks volumes.
And then the whole world thinks that I walked away because I can't take a joke. That's fucked. That's fucked.
It parlayed into more stuff happening down the line. Like it just became, at that point, you saw me, I went on a body show.
Yeah.
Right?
And they cut around it. You said that
So it wasn't just about the religious thing, man. It was about this as well.
I
I try to make peace with this guy.
I know.
You see me.
Yeah.
I try to make peace with him behind closed doors. I try to reach out. I try to be cool. But by the way, and I'll just say this, we'll just empty it out. I never had a problem with Bobby Lee.
No, he knows.
I had a problem with the way that Logan and you were kind of gassing him to keep doing. He started the episode putting his balls in my face. I let that one go. Then every 2 seconds he kept grabbing my dick. I don't think. How would you feel if a man that has his back completely towards you, that only turns around to grab your dick,
Right.
talk shit to your face, and you can't smack or beat the living brakes off of this guy? Because Logan makes me apologize to this man, or I don't have a job on Impulsive anymore. How fucking crazy is that?
I don't think I understood. I can only speak for myself.
Bro,
I hope you can understand
group
that.
chat.
No.
I'm
talking about during the episode, because there was, I didn't know that you were feeling.
But after the episode, do you
about
remember when you called me? And I said, Mike, this is all that happens. And you said, verbatim, you said, it's our fault for not telling you this, but me and Logan are really the ones who should be talking to the guest. You are really there for a Boys Only episode. So while I get sexually harassed, my other co-host is trying to fire me, and you're trying to leverage me to be quiet during other guests. And then on my birthday, you guys shot 3 episodes, so I couldn't show up.
That sucks. And I am by no means a Mike fan. I think this guy's incredibly snaky and shady, and he will throw anyone under the bus to extend his career for a few weeks. I don't know what it is about Mike. I've always gotten a bad feeling about him. He just seems incredibly shady.
Disingenuous.
It's not because he used to be a drug dealer. That's not what this is about, okay? And I do feel for George, and I'm not saying George is an angel and he's innocent, but to film 3 episodes back to back to back on his birthday when he couldn't be there, when he, at least in my eyes, he was part of the show. I mean, you have him there, and I get he's not as important as Mike, but you had him there. And for this guy to not be able to speak about what happened, because he was like, oh shit, if I talk, I'm gonna lose Logan Paul, and then what am I going to do? So it's a pretty ugly situation to be in. Once again, I'm glad his podcast took off. He doesn't need anyone, and I'm sure Logan Paul hates this. He's punching the air. He's like, wait, he survived without the great, humble, amazing WWE superstar Logan Paul? Now, Logan Paul is a pretty good wrestler, okay? I gotta give him that. He's extremely talented, but he's a shit person.
On my 30th birthday, you shot 3 episodes.
I think
that's crazy. He's on the calendar for months.
I think by the time we got there was so much, like, confusion and disarray in the podcast that there was no coming back.
And this is just us just talking about. I'm not trying to be upset. I'm trying to work with you and, like, grow. But if I got a deal. Because I started my podcast because I saw you guys.
Don't go there because you're gonna move on to a different topic. I want to button this one up.
No, it's the same thing.
No, I know, but just hold on. Whenever you call me with a problem with a hotel room, a problem with a flight, a problem with a coworker, a problem with Logan, a problem with anyone,
yeah,
I always answer the phone.
Yeah.
I always talk to you. I always work through it. I always called whoever the fuck was causing the problem and said George has a problem with X, Y, and Z.
I never said you did.
I was there with you when we negotiated the deal for you to be a part of the podcast. I applauded it. I was always had your interest in mind. The reason I was hurt was because I was always the one that was there. I was always the one standing up for you.
The last straw for me was, Mike, I had to escape. I had to leave for my own fear. When Logan came after me for my religion, the show hit rock bottom. We weren't getting paid. I was getting paid $5,000 a month, and that's covering just Reed. I have a mortgage, I have my sister that works for me, I have Belle, I'm trying to get married, I had all these things. So I had to start my own show because we're not making money on the show and I'm getting pushed out of the show.
Well, at the time you were making money. You made money on the show.
But at the time, we're in a couple months.
How much money did you make?
I could show you my books, I was spending 10 G's a month being on the show.
Right. How is that even possible? How do you spend $10,000 on the show? That's not even yours. That's a co-host. If someone could explain that to me in the comment section, I don't know, maybe my brain is just fried from streaming and uploading and recording so much material like a ninja out here, just being a one-man band. I have to explain because, yeah, it's not good to spend 10 G's on this show that's not even yours. You don't not invested in anything. You're just invested in Logan Paul, a multi-millionaire. The fear of losing
we spending money
is
on
probably up there, maybe top 10 scariest things that could happen to you.
to work on something that's not even
like
yours.
30 and you got wedding plans and you got a mortgage and all this adult stuff. It's scary for you to be, walking on eggshells because of Logan Paul and the way he treats you. And then not only the religious episode, going back to the whole Bobby Lee situation, it's sad. I mean, the amount of anxiety this guy must have felt is crazy.
But when I got pushed out, and I'm seeing that I'm getting pushed out, and I start my own show. Do you know what my final straw was?
What?
I got my show going, and then not only was I controlled and pushed around on Impulsive, but then Logan's making calls and directing my show. And I'm saying, hey man, you can't tell me what to do on my own show. That's not okay.
What was that?
Really?
He told me that I couldn't take Celsius. And then I said, hey
He
man,
didn't tell you that you couldn't take Celsius. No, he didn't tell you
Got
that you couldn't
Celsius
take
in the
Celsius.
background.
He told. He's
Sorry, this guy's the biggest dick rider of all time. And I thought I was a huge Eminem and Kanye dick rider, but holy shit, this guy takes it to a whole new level of D riding. And I have the D riding champion in the building right now. Does this surprise me that Logan Paul acts like this? No. I don't know him, I don't want to meet him, but I could see why people would be like, yeah, Logan Paul's kind of a control freak. It takes major balls to kick someone out and then record 3 episodes on his birthday. Let's not pretend like Mike is innocent here. He did it as well. You know, Logan Paul slapped on, and he does whatever Logan Paul wants.
that if you wait 6 months after the deal's done, you're more than welcome to rejoin the show if you need to make money.
but they're always trying to find a way to push me out.
I don't.
You know what he told me? And I told
think
you know what
that was. I think that was
this
a
is
fair.
a guy who's this is a guy who's sending us screenshots of $11 million a week that he's making. Okay, and on top of that, we never got any money from Prime, and we own that show. So technically, we should have gotten a percentage of that. I never asked for it like the way you did. I stayed the fuck out of it. I didn't care.
$11 million per week Logan Paul was making. Holy shit. If you're gonna treat people with respect, if they give you respect, it seems like George was pretty respectful. If I'm wrong, please feel free to correct me on any of my claims. I feel bad for the guy. It sucks that he was treated like this.
When I get that call, and I tell him, I go, Logan, I get it, bro. And I fully told him, I go, listen, man, like, I will take half the deal that Celsius gives me. Half. If you want to put it on the table for my show, a quarter, work with me. He says, I won't pay you a dime. You're here because of me. And then I said, well, what do you want me to do for my bills, bro? I got no money. And he says, go have your rich dad pay for it.
Listen,
That's fighting words,
everybody.
bro. Look at me.
Does anyone here need more proof that Logan Paul is such a douche? I believe him, alright? I don't need no proof. I believe George on this. This is probably the most...
I mean, we've seen the many things he did.
I'm actually kind of surprised Logan Paul has gone away with so many stuff. I'm not even talking about the Japan incident, but the fact that he still has gotten so many opportunities given and handed to this guy is crazy. We're making the wrong people famous. That's why you gotta make me famous. Cheap plug, but please subscribe. Let's get 1 million subscribers before the end of the year.
You don't bring up somebody's father.
Would you say that the way that you handled it from a word standpoint was mature, acceptable?
What did I say? That I beat the fucking brakes off of him?
Correct.
If he was in front of me, I would have swung him.
But that's what I'm trying to say. We were at a point where no one was speaking properly to each other. And the only person, and George, and the only person, probably, that was the calmest out of the 3, I sent you a very nice text message. Please. I sent you
A very nice text
to
message.
try to get my deal. Called me right after you called them. You never called to check on
This
them.
dude said a very nice.
I texted you.
No, you didn't. It was after you went after the deal.
And by the way, I wasn't going after the deal. I was going after the contract to bring to Logan and say, beat this with Prime, please. I was never going to take this out.
But listen, you can't. Okay, so I have one.
By the way,
my rich.
We're just having a conversation. The one thing I am a little bit upset about was the text you sent back to me.
I told you you're a piece of shit. Everyone knows it.
Yes.
You need to. But dude, I meant every word of it.
That's crazy.
No, I'm
That's
not.
crazy. That's
if you
insane.
fell out, if you
That's
fell
an
out,
insane
if
thing.
you fell out and you started doing scummy moves to your friend, I called you out on it.
But I didn't do anything.
Bro,
What did
not you, not Caleb, not Kevin, not Dylan. Nobody fucking called me when I got fired. Not one person called me. You know what I get a call from? Logan saying, at least Mike wouldn't do this. And an hour later, calls me and they say, hey, he's trying to get this deal.
But you know why I was trying to get the deal.
I get it. It's money. But why
No,
wouldn't you?
I was not taking
But
the deal.
why wouldn't you call me and talk to me before you try to go dig
You
pockets?
didn't want to talk to me. You did not want to
You
talk to
never
me.
reached out.
I was talking to Davish.
You never talked
I was
once.
talking to Davish.
You
I
never
reached out to you.
me.
I definitely called you.
Never did.
I texted you. I have text messages that were not responded to. I definitely have text
After
messages.
I called you out.
I'm just saying I tried reaching out.
I just noticed it kind of feels like I'm in a therapy session, and I'm just like, huh, yeah, that makes sense. Oh yeah, he also makes a really good point. Oh yeah, Logan Paul is a piece of shit. Yeah, it makes sense now. I don't think anyone would have been upset if George would have swung at Logan Paul. I think it would have been 1,000% deserved. I do think Mike is one hell of a snake. I definitely do think he's Logan Paul's lapdog, his little chihuahua, his little poodle, whatever you guys want to call him. Would I be surprised if it turns out that he tried to take away the contract? No, because all these people are leeches, and once someone's about to be eaten alive, the other one steps on them to get out there. And I get it. It's for the best.
Yeah, I believe homie would take the contract and then call the other homie George up. I totally believe that. Just looking at him.
Real friends, you would call them, you would contact them. By the way, if anyone at Celsius is watching this video, please sponsor me. I'm a fan.
The fact that you would stand up for me on camera,
I don't think I've ever had that.
Being like, I'm gonna look so good that I stood up for you.
Is it good?
Intentions behind it, bro.
That
you never cared.
Oh, so you're now saying that a
I'm
joke.
not the only one who thought that.
You're saying now that a joke that I made, which we would always tie comedy in with real life. A joke that I made after standing up for you a million times on a million fucking episodes now completely discounts all the times I did.
Do you think what I went through is fair?
I think it's complex. I think it's complex. I think
crazy, Mike. I would put my own enemies what I went through, bro.
I think I'm gonna be honest with you, or I'm gonna be honest with you. I think
yeah, be honest
more than
for
anything,
once.
it was a culture fit problem. I think there was a culture fit problem.
I think I brought a different type of
I
weight to
agree.
the podcast.
I agree.
And
But
if you go look at the greatest hits on Impulsive, they were all flooded with my comments. And don't think I didn't see you guys take my name out, and you guys shadow banned my name. Fans would screenshot shots of them trying to talk about me, and you guys would ban my name.
because we probably didn't want that conversation.
And I'm smiling like this because it's like when he was sipping and spilled his drink, man. Like he wasn't sipping that calmly, bro. He was trying to gather all his thoughts together, like thinking like, yo, son, like, how can I best explain, you know what I'm saying, what I did and try to like justify it in a way that's reasonable or so, man. Like, dude was jumbling in his head, bro. He's like, shoot, let me sip this real quick. Oh my god, I spilled it. Like, bro, that's why I was smirking because I was looking at his mannerisms as he's trying to explain himself, bro.
Fucking hauling the entirety of the show.
But also, it's like, bro, I walked away without saying a thing, and you guys were on the podcast saying this gets no views.
I said that.
When you guys talk together and you're clipped together, you guys, he's not talking to the wall.
I said that.
But
and you were like, I don't know.
I think the biggest. I think the more this goes on, the more I hate Mike. Like he always has something ready. Oh no, but me, I saw it. He was
Right.
like, stupid. Or maybe he was
Acting
legitimately
stupid,
Bro,
nervous.
Just be honest. Stop capping. Be real for once in your life. You guys screwed him over.
Hey,
You
Drake,
guys were
we're not
part of his
slow.
downfall. I'm sure Logan Paul was laughing in the first episode, and the second one came out, and it wasn't doing
Or in this
so well.
case, hey Mike,
I'm
we're
sure
not
we're all
slow.
praying on George's downfall and hope that he never took off. I'm glad he's finally able to talk about this, come forward, expose Logan's phoniness, and even Mike.
to say that that the execution of your treatment on the show, outside of the show, whatever, was perfect would be the biggest overstatement of all time. There was a million things, George, that could have been done differently. The conversation about Jesus was horrible, managed terribly. I'm with you on that. Okay, and by the way, so is Logan. He would admit that if he could have that conversation again, it would go completely different. You know that, bro. He didn't go into that with some
Let's
sort of
hear it from the
intent.
horse's mouth.
Clearly got carried away, was not seeing your side of the discussion, and it turned into a clusterfuck.
I just don't. Not like I don't believe it, bro. It's just patterns. So you got to see the patterns. We'll use an example, bro. Like, I saw you go through hell over and over and over again, and guess what? It keeps happening. And it's the same thing that they put you through. I'm not gonna mention what they put you through, but I watched and I would pull you aside and be like, bro, that's fucked. Like, you shouldn't be talked to like that or acted like that. So for you to sit there and be like, oh, I know what you're going through, and then try to make it seem like what I'm saying is a little bit more fabricated, I think that's gonna come back at you when the day that you finally snap. You're like, oh, I'm done with this shit, and then you're gonna see it for what it is.
This sounds like an extremely toxic work environment, but this sounds absolutely toxic and mentally draining. In 5 years, I want to see interviews about Mike and his time with Logan Paul. But now with that said, I think the video's long enough, guys.
Hopefully he won't be as nervous when he tells it. Speak of the horse. There's now a new video, you know what I'm saying, as I just did that one, of Logan talking about the situation now. Logan Paul claps back at George Janko. ... He cooked. Let's see, man. Now we're hearing it straight from the horse's mouth. That's crazy.
I should not have mocked his beliefs. I apologize for that. I should have stuck up for him with Bobby Lee, and I definitely should have had his back more like a friend. There's a lot of things I would have done differently, but here we are.
If you end up enjoying this video, please consider subscribing. We're so close to 500,000. Thank you. So yesterday I made a video about George Janko talking about Logan Paul and all the mean stuff that Logan Paul allegedly did to him behind the scenes. And in case you guys haven't seen that video, it's going to be shown at the end of this video. But just to summarize everything, George had Mike on his new podcast that he launched about a year ago and had a lot of claims about Logan Paul being mean and just not a good person. And Logan Paul did end up responding. Let's see Logan Paul's response. And don't get it twisted, I do still think that Logan Paul is a shitty person. Let's not forget Crypto Sue. And let's not forget about the other crypto shit he's done, okay? He scammed his fans.
I had to start my own show because we're not making money on the show, and I'm getting pushed out. Money on the show. I can show you my books. I was spending 10 G's a month being on the show.
All right, let's talk about this. Obviously, I wasn't on the podcast to represent myself, so I'd like to clarify a few things that were said. As well as having his own credit card, all expenses related to the show were paid for, including all travel and lodging. Obviously, George's total reimbursement came out to $20,000, 317 cents. I'd love to see any books that show otherwise. Spending $120,000 a year to be on a show is a little confusing.
Yeah, if you go back to my video, okay, just to clarify, just so people don't say, oh, you're just backtracking everything because Logan responded. No. If you go back to the video, I actually say, wait, how does that make sense? How do you spend $10,000 per month on a show that's not even yours? What are you investing in? I'm not saying George is a liar and he did this for clout or whatever. He doesn't seem like that type of guy. Like, you never know with people, right? But that is something that I did question. You can go back to that video. That's something that didn't make any sense to me yesterday. Got me a bit confused. I'm looking forward to what George has to say about this.
Shots of $11 million a week that he's making.
This statement is so crazy that it's almost laughable. That would mean I'm making $572 million a year. I'm nowhere near that. What happened was Prime had a very successful month. I think we did like 60 to 70 million, and I sent it to our group chat. It was part of the business. I was stoked to show the boys, and I think George maybe misinterpreted that as like my personal income.
The show hit rock bottom. We weren't getting paid. I was getting paid $5,000 a month.
But you did make a sizable amount of money on the show.
And by the way, I'm always grateful. I was always grateful.
Like that?
Yeah, I don't like talking about money.
I know he doesn't want to talk money. I know he bleeds it out, but George made $317,000 in the 15 months that he got paid for on Impulsive. The work requirements consisted of about 3 days a month, 3 hours each day, traveling the world, networking, and meeting some of the coolest people ever. It comes out to about $2,300 per hour, and he also had 10% equity of the entire show.
Right now, it's not looking too good for George. I mean, Logan is bringing the receipts. I could be a Logan Paul hater, but you can't deny the facts, right? Once again, there's always two sides to a story. And in this situation, I guess George is going to have to respond to these claims.
Well, he said what she said, but in this case, what he said, and the truth.
Receipts. As far as I know, George never scammed anyone with crypto or with NFTs or with that weird Sue game where you could pay and then you get a random ass animal. Crypto Sue, that's what I was trying to remember. Can you please take a second to acknowledge the schedule? You work 3 days per month, 3 hours each day, and you get to travel the world. Logan, can I work for you? I'm gonna be like the guy who was begging Logan Paul for a job right now. Logan Paul, please hire me. I take back everything I've ever said about you.
Just kind of talk about trying to get a job. Like I want to do media. I've been trying to get.
What are you good at?
Was he a YouTuber too? That's asking this.
Video, you know, like all that.
You know. Oh, so you really got what it takes.
I don't.
Then why would I need a job?
Where do I sign up? Do you need a co-host? Do you need a Line X co-host? Diversity? You know where to find me, Logan, called Twitter or Instagram. This schedule is living on recruit difficulty. We're going to have to wait till George responds and clears this up. Maybe Logan's line, maybe George's line. But right now, Logan Paul's bringing up receipts.
Not you, not Caleb, not Kevin, not Dylan. Nobody f***ing called me when I got fired.
George did not get fired. He quit. I'll touch on that in a second. But after he quit, I called him frequently. I reached out. I wanted to reconcile the friendship. I invited him to my birthday party and WrestleMania.
What's up, gangster? How you living? Missed you yesterday, George. Coming to birthday dinner at least? That's what I was told, not sure. Alright, now, back to what's up, gangster? How you living? My bad, I just read up instead of down. Good, Bubba. How you doing? Immensely happy and healthy. Just wanted to check on you. Amazing, bro. Good to hear. Thank you. Hey, gangster.
Ranch a few weeks later, he chose not to come. He also
I'm not gonna ask why he's saying hey gangster and all
I
that.
invited him to my birthday party and WrestleMania and even my ranch a few weeks later.
Let me know when you want to talk today. Some horn. Nah, I'm okay.
He chose not
GB.
to come.
Okay. Let me know when you have a second to talk today. I want to hop on the horn. Porn?
Also unfollowed all the people he mentioned on Instagram, which is maybe why they didn't call him. I don't know. I can't speak for them, but he still does not follow them to this.
I mean, that could be because he was just sad. Well, not sad, but upset about putting myself in his shoes. If everyone saw what happened with Bobby Lee going down and I walked down and all this stuff, and people that I consider my friends never called me, texted, or checked up on me, people that I thought were my friends, by the way, I would have been like, fuck all of you, blocked. Well, not blocked, but I would have unfollowed them, and in my opinion, that would be dead to me.
Fake
now,
friends
getting
in
into
this
the text
industry.
Messages, Logan says, you coming to WrestleMania? Not true and no. Coming to my birthday. Then Logan Paul texts him again and again. He responds. Like, I get
What was that
it,
last
Paul.
one?
Yeah.
You coming to WrestleMania? Not true and no. Oh, that's what I was told. Okay. Coming to birthday dinner at least? Didn't reply.
Not true and no. Coming to my birthday. Then Logan Paul texts him again and again. He responds. Like, I get it. Like, he walked away because he felt mistreated by Logan and by Mike and even by Bobby. So it's normal for you to respond dry. Like, how is George supposed to respond? Oh, Logan, thank you so much. I'm having a great time. I'll come to your birthday party. After he got humiliated in front of millions of people because you edited the podcast a certain way that made me look like I was a little bitch and couldn't take jokes. I'll be at WrestleMania. I understand why he wouldn't want to engage with Logan at this point.
And then on my birthday, you guys shot 3 episodes so I couldn't show up.
The 2 episodes he's talking about, not 3, were shot 4 days after George's birthday. His birthday's on January 3rd. We shot those episodes on January 7th. We were already in Vegas signing the UFC to Prime, and as we do, want to capitalize on the location and our use of time and energy and the guests in that city. George didn't come to work because he wanted to spend time with his family for his belated birthday, which I totally understand and we even praised.
One of the things that I love about George, he prioritizes his family and friends over anything.
I got my show going, and then not only was I controlled and pushed around on Impulsive, but then Logan's making calls and directing my show. He told me that I couldn't take Celsius.
So this is the big one. Making calls, trying to make it seem like I wanted to control his show is absolutely ridiculous. As you can see right here, I was like, hey, we got to get you.
After my dentist appointment at 3B, I don't know, want to go see John Wick? Bro, we gotta get you Prime. Don't drink our competitor, you goose. Call me back. Ha ha ha. I have to tell you something. Ha 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 ha.
Prime because I saw him drinking our competitor, and he told me to call him. He was filming my reaction.
3
telling
p.m.
me he took a deal with
3
the competitor.
p.m.
I told him, please don't film like I
that means 3
talk
p.m.
about this. I hope you're joking, by the way. The truth is, I thought it was a bad look that my best friend and co-host took a brand deal with our competitor without consulting me, asking me, giving us even a chance to match it before he signed the deal. Because the
your
audience
co-host
that he's
anymore.
building, at least at the time, on his own podcast was being funneled directly from the podcast that I was building with him. I said, hey, dude, I understand you need to make money. The entire text is right here that I sent him after our conversation because I did understand his position if he needed to make money, but I thought it was also a little odd because he did make $317,000 in 15 months.
Yeah, I'm not reading that whole
I did
essay,
tell
bro.
him I can't have him on Impulsive if he's going to take the deal with the competitor, but if after he makes the money he wants to come back to the podcast, he's more than welcome.
Now, so far, you might be like, Logan is cooking.
I mean, he might be explaining a lot in
George
that.
and his lies. It sounded really good, right?
Text
and,
essay.
Once again, even if I'm a Logan Paul hater, I gotta look at the facts. I can't be biased. I hate myself for this, but I genuinely enjoy Prime. I'm a huge water guy, but Prime is good, okay? And I said that like a live stream ago, and people were hating on me. They were throwing tomatoes at my face. I do think Logan Paul
Ice Pop is good.
a very good wrestler. He's just naturally gifted.
Just has
at
that
And I
aftertaste,
can't
though.
take that
The
away
rest of the
from him.
flavors.
Like, he's just low-key a scummy person, and this is not the first time he does something like this. This might be the new Drake Kendrick with drama, and I'm here for it. Logan Paul, if you're watching, can you please send me some? I'm sorry for being a hater.
There's no room for you to go. They won't let you go. They will
Sorry
not
for
let
being a
you go.
hater.
I thought saying that to Mike was a little crazy. He's grown a lot. He has 2.7
Wait, what?
Logan Paul, if you're watching, can you please send me some? I'm sorry for being a hater.
There's no room for you to go. They won't let you go. They will not let you go.
I thought saying that to Mike was a little crazy. He's grown a lot. He has 2.7 million subscribers since we met. He's a multimillionaire, a best-selling author. I tried as much as I could to help him get into those positions, and it's not entirely because of me. Mike is a phenom in his own right, and he capitalized on the platform that I gave him, which is awesome. Just like George is doing now, but if that's not growth, like what is? In fact, I think people forget, like, I praised George for starting a podcast, like, a lot.
Georgie started his own podcast. I think it's a great idea. I always love when my co-hosts venture out and do their own things. Congratulations, it's awesome, guys. Check out his podcast.
And also saying they won't let you grow was a little hurtful because I thought at least I helped Mike do some of the things that he did, and I even encouraged him to start his own podcast.
I think you should take a page out of Georgie's book and start a show of your own.
There's no greater feeling than watching people you love succeed. I tried to give people around me a platform, and if they capitalize on it, fantastic. Mike and George did. And George will even tell you this off camera. I encouraged him to pursue media and comedy since
Wow, they know each
2015.
other
I
for
really
a minute,
believe in it. I still do. There's a lot more. I'm not going to get into it, but this isn't to say, by the way, that I didn't fuck up along the way. I did. I should not have mocked his beliefs. I apologize for that. I should have stuck up for him with Bobby Lee, and I definitely should have had his back more like a friend. There's a lot of things I would have done differently, but here we are. It saddens me that our story has unfolded this way. I wish him nothing but health, wealth, happiness, all the success that he wants, and I hope that one day we can sit down and have a relationship and a conversation.
Logan Paul's really good at this. He almost had me for a second. I was like, am I Team Logan? Now am I going to have to go online and get a Maverick hoodie now? Now, there is some stuff that he left out. He really didn't go too into detail about the whole Bobby Lee incident. George said that Bobby Lee kept grabbing his penis, and Bobby Lee put his balls on his face. So he just brushes over that. And something else that Logan Paul didn't bring up was a whole conversation where Logan Paul told George, "You wouldn't be here without me. I made you." I'm just paraphrasing here. You can go back to the OG video to see that there's quite a few things that Logan Paul, he just touched on it briefly. Oh yeah, I'm sorry I mocked God, and I'm sorry about the Bobby Lee situation, but he really didn't address it. He was just like, my bad, I'm sorry. Doesn't tackle the deeper issue. And the whole thing where George said that Logan Paul told him, "Oh, you're struggling, go with your rich daddy." We don't get that either. So there's definitely been some stuff that's been left out. I don't know if it was on purpose. I'm sure George is going to respond. I found this tweet, right? I think Logan Paul is cooking on medium heat, and allegedly this is a deleted tweet
On medium
from
heat.
George. "Hey, no need to make TikToks. Come talk to me in person. We can handle it like real men." At Logan Paul. And I went to his account. It wasn't there, so take this with a grain of salt. Logan Paul did have a pretty good response. The video was good. Whenever George responds via Twitter, or he makes a TikTok, or he goes on his podcast, we're going to talk about it here, all right? We're going to get down to the truth. With that said, what do you think? Do you believe Logan? Are you going to go run and buy a lot of Prime bottles? Or do you believe George, and you're going to run and get...
Man, this year's been crazy, man. Everybody telling truths and stuff, man. Like, bruh. Honestly, I don't know who to believe because, again, they are human. They could tell the truth. They could be lying. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all let me know your thoughts, who you believe, whatever, down in the comment section down below, bro. All this is just crazy. You feel me? Make sure to leave a like, support the video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, so that we join up with the Bomb Squad. I'm going to catch y'all in the next one. 100. Boom!
Yeah, yeah.